So last week was the first time I was away from my daughter for a whole day. And since I'm still breastfeeding, it brought a lot of anxiety for pumping on the go. So I've obviously pumped before, but there's a big difference between pumping in the comfort of your own home with everything you need around you versus being out and about in a new space. So I thought I would share with you what I did to kind of plan for the day and what helped me to ultimately have great pumping sessions while away. So here are my top 5 recommendations. Okay, so the first thing I did was buy a portable cooler and ice pack set. This made it so all the milk I pumped throughout the day would stay cold. The next thing I did was look at my schedule and loosely kind of plan when I would need to pump. Of course, it wasn't exact, but knowing where I would be when I needed to pump was a great way to help me kind of mentally prepare and look for places that I could comfortably pump. Okay, number 3 was drink electrolytes. I knew that since I'd be on the go for most of the day, it'd be really hard for me to sit down and remember to drink water. So before I left, I grabbed my giant Stanley and I put in some Mom Fuel electrolytes. And this helped me keep hydrated and energized throughout the day. Because what do we always say? If we're not hydrated and taking care of ourselves, it's going to be really hard for our body to produce that extra milk. And number 4, I brought my warming massage pads. Another thing with being on the go with lots to do, it's hard to get your body to relax. If I'm not relaxed, it's really hard for me to have a good output. Before I would sit down to pump, I would slide this in just to kind of get the heat going to allow my body to be like, oh yeah, it's time. Let's start getting relaxed and get the milk flowing. That way, by the time I sat down to pump, wherever it was at that point, I had a good output and I was ready to go. And finally, my number 5 for recommendations for pumping on the go were these amazing pump wipes from Medela. These are super helpful to use when you're on the go and don't necessarily have access to soap and water. They're also proven safe to use on your pump parts. So what I would do is just wipe it down after I use the pump and let it sit out for a little bit to dry off, which didn't take long at all. Bag it back up, and then I needed to use the pump again. It was perfectly clean. So yeah, now I swear by those 5 things. They helped my first pumping on the go experience be so successful. So if I can help just one mom ease some anxiety when it comes to pumping, I think I've done my job here.